If you're over 60 and you're still eating a large meal 2 hours before bed, drinking that glass of wine to help you sleep, or scrolling through your phone under the covers, I need you to understand something that most doctors won't tell you this directly. Your body is not recovering at night the way it used to. And I don't mean that in some vague, abstract way. I mean on a cellular level, in your muscles, in your nervous system, in the delicate balance of hormones that rebuild your tissues while you sleep. Something fundamental has changed, and the habits you're repeating every single night, habits that might have worked perfectly fine when you were 40 or 50, are now actively interfering with your body's ability to repair itself. I've spent over 3 decades treating patients, teaching medical students, and researching the physiology of aging. And one of the most frustrating things I see, day after day, is how little attention we pay to nighttime recovery. We talk about exercise, we talk about diet, we talk about supplements, but we almost never talk about what happens during those 7 or 8 hours when your body is supposed to be healing. And for someone over 60, that window of time is more important than ever, because this is when your muscles repair. This is when inflammation is controlled. This is when your brain clears out metabolic waste. This is when your immune system resets. If you disrupt that process night after night, you don't just wake up tired. You wake up weaker. You wake up stiffer. You lose muscle mass faster. Your balance deteriorates. Your risk of falls increases. Your independence begins to slip away, not because of some dramatic injury, but because your body simply never gets the chance to recover fully. Now let me explain why recovery changes so dramatically after 60. It's not just about getting older. It's about how aging affects the systems that govern repair. When you're younger, your body has what I call metabolic resilience. Your growth hormone levels are higher. Your testosterone and estrogen, even in modest amounts, support muscle protein synthesis. Your nervous system bounces back quickly from stress. Your sleep cycles are deeper and more stable, but after 60, all of those systems start to lose efficiency. Growth hormone secretion, which peaks during deep sleep, declines significantly. The amount of time you spend in slow-wave sleep, the most restorative phase, drops by nearly 50% compared to when you were in your 30s. Your muscle protein synthesis becomes less responsive to the signals that tell your body to rebuild tissue. Clinicians call this anabolic resistance. It means that even if you're eating protein and staying active, your muscles don't repair as efficiently as they used to, especially if your nighttime recovery is compromised. And then there's inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation, something researchers refer to as inflammaging, becomes much more common after 60. Your immune system stays slightly activated all the time, releasing inflammatory molecules called cytokines. Normally, sleep helps regulate this. During deep sleep, your body shifts into an anti-inflammatory state. Cortisol, your primary stress hormone, drops to its lowest levels. Melatonin rises, and melatonin isn't just a sleep hormone, it's also a powerful antioxidant that protects your cells from oxidative damage. But if your sleep is fragmented, if your cortisol stays elevated, if your melatonin production is disrupted by light or stimulation or poor timing, that anti-inflammatory window never fully opens. And over time, that persistent inflammation accelerates sarcopenia, the loss of muscle mass and strength that is one of the biggest threats to independence in older adults. I want you to think about circulation for a moment. Blood flow. When you sleep, your blood pressure drops, your heart rate slows, and your cardiovascular system gets a chance to recover from the demands of the day. But if you're doing things at night that keep your sympathetic nervous system activated, the fight or flight system, your heart rate stays elevated, your blood vessels remain constricted, and your muscles don't get the oxygen and nutrients they need to repair. Studies from institutions like Johns Hopkins and the Mayo Clinic have shown that poor sleep quality is directly linked to increased cardiovascular risk, higher blood pressure, and reduced microcirculation in peripheral tissues. For someone over 60, that means slower healing, more stiffness in the joints, and a greater likelihood of waking up with pain. Now here's what most people over 60 are doing wrong, and they don't even realize it. They've built nighttime routines based on outdated advice, on what worked when they were younger, or on habits they've never questioned. And these habits, repeated night after night, are silently sabotaging recovery. Let me walk you through the 5 most common mistakes I see, and I'm going to explain not just what they are, but why they matter, and what you can do instead. Mistake number 5. Eating too close to bedtime, especially heavy or high-sugar meals. I know many of you have heard that you shouldn't eat late at night, but let me tell you why this is especially critical after 60. When you eat a large meal within 2 or 3 hours of sleep, your digestive system has to stay active. Your body diverts blood flow to your stomach and intestines. Your core temperature stays elevated because digestion generates heat. And most importantly, your insulin levels spike. Insulin is a hormone that helps your cells absorb glucose, but when insulin is high at night, it interferes with the release of growth hormone. Growth hormone is primarily secreted during the first few hours of deep sleep, and it plays a crucial role in repairing muscle tissue, strengthening bones, and maintaining metabolic health. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism has shown that even a modest elevation in blood sugar at night can suppress growth hormone secretion by as much as 70%. For someone over 60 who already produces less growth hormone than they did in their younger years, this is a serious problem. And it gets worse if you're eating sugary or processed foods. Your blood sugar spikes, then crashes a few hours later, triggering a stress response. Your body releases cortisol and adrenaline to bring your blood sugar back up, and that wakes you up, often around 2 or 3 in the morning. You might not even fully wake. You might just shift from deep sleep to light sleep. But that fragmentation is enough to disrupt the repair process. Over weeks and months, this pattern leads to chronic fatigue, increased inflammation, and accelerated muscle loss. So what should you do instead? Finish your last meal at least 3 hours before bed. Keep it moderate in size. Focus on lean protein, healthy fats, and vegetables. Avoid refined carbohydrates and sweets in the evening. If you're genuinely hungry before bed, a small serving of something like Greek yogurt or a handful of nuts is fine, but keep it light. Mistake number 4. Using alcohol as a sleep aid. I hear this all the time. Doctor, I have a glass of wine before bed. It helps me relax. It helps me fall asleep. And yes, alcohol is a sedative. It will make you feel drowsy. It will help you fall asleep faster. But here's what it does to your sleep architecture, and this is something most people don't understand. Alcohol suppresses rapid eye movement sleep, REM sleep, which is the stage where your brain consolidates memories, processes emotions, and clears out metabolic waste through a system called the glymphatic system. Even more importantly, for someone over 60, alcohol disrupts your sleep cycles. You might fall asleep quickly, but 3 or 4 hours later, as your body metabolizes the alcohol, you experience a rebound effect. Your nervous system becomes hyperactive. You wake up, sometimes multiple times. Your sleep becomes fragmented and shallow. And there's another issue. Alcohol is a diuretic. It makes you urinate more frequently, which means you're waking up to use the bathroom, further disrupting your sleep. For older adults, who already have a higher risk of sleep apnea and nighttime breathing disturbances, alcohol makes those problems worse because it relaxes the muscles in your throat and airways. A study from the University of Michigan followed older adults for over a decade and found that those who regularly consumed alcohol in the evening had significantly worse sleep quality, higher rates of daytime fatigue, and faster declines in physical function compared to those who abstained or drank earlier in the day. If you enjoy alcohol, that's fine, but move it earlier. Have your drink with dinner, at least 4 hours before bed. Your sleep will improve, and your body will recover more effectively. Mistake number 3. Exposure to blue light and screen time before bed. I know this one frustrates people because screens are everywhere. Your phone, your tablet, your television, your laptop. And I'm not here to tell you to throw them all away, but I do need you to understand what blue light does to your brain, especially after 60. Your eyes contain specialized cells called intrinsically photosensitive retinal ganglion cells. These cells detect blue light, the type of light emitted by screens and LED lights, and they send signals to a tiny structure in your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, your master circadian clock. When blue light hits these cells, your brain interprets it as daytime. It suppresses the production of melatonin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy and that also regulates the timing and quality of your sleep cycles. Now here's the problem for older adults. As you age, the lenses in your eyes become less transparent. You naturally filter out some blue light just because of the physical changes in your eyes. That sounds like a good thing, but it's not, because it means you're less sensitive to natural daylight during the day, which weakens your circadian rhythm overall. And then in the evening, when you're staring at a bright screen, you're still getting enough blue light to suppress melatonin, but your circadian system is already less robust, so the disruption is more significant. Research from Harvard Medical School has shown that even 2 hours of screen time before bed can delay melatonin release by up to 90 minutes and reduce total melatonin production by nearly 20%. For someone over 60, that delay means you go to bed later, you fall asleep later, and you spend less time in deep restorative sleep. What should you do? Ideally, stop using screens at least 90 minutes before bed. I know that's hard, so if you must use a device, turn on night mode or use blue light blocking glasses. Dim the brightness as much as possible, and more importantly, get bright light exposure during the day. Go outside in the morning. Let natural sunlight hit your eyes. That strengthens your circadian rhythm and makes it easier for melatonin to rise naturally in the evening. This is one of the simplest changes you can make, and the impact on your sleep quality and recovery is profound. Mistake number 2. Sleeping in a room that is too warm. I've had patients tell me they like to keep their bedroom warm and cozy, especially in the winter, and I understand that. But your body has to cool down in order to fall asleep and stay asleep. This is not optional. It's a biological requirement. Your core body temperature naturally drops in the evening as part of your circadian rhythm. That drop in temperature is one of the primary signals that tells your brain it's time to sleep. If your bedroom is too warm, your body can't cool down effectively. You stay in lighter stages of sleep. You toss and turn. You wake up more frequently. And your deep sleep, the stage where most physical recovery happens, is significantly reduced. Studies from the Netherlands Institute for Neuroscience have shown that the optimal sleeping temperature for most adults is between 16 and 19 degrees Celsius. That's roughly 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. I know that sounds cold to some of you, but here's what happens when you sleep in a cooler room. Your blood vessels dilate, especially in your hands and feet. That helps your core temperature drop more efficiently. Your body enters deep sleep faster. Your growth hormone secretion improves. Your muscles relax more fully, and you wake up feeling more refreshed. For someone over 60, who already has a harder time regulating body temperature because of changes in circulation and metabolism, sleeping in a cooler room makes a significant difference. Now, I'm not saying you should be shivering. Use blankets, wear comfortable sleepwear, but turn the thermostat down. Open a window if the air quality is good. If you share a bed with someone who prefers warmth, consider separate blankets or even a mattress pad that allows for individual temperature control. This is one of those changes that feels uncomfortable for the first few nights. But once your body adjusts, the improvement in sleep quality is remarkable. And now the biggest mistake, number 1. Going to bed at inconsistent times and waking up at inconsistent times. This might sound simple, almost trivial, but let me tell you, this is the foundation of everything. Your body runs on circadian rhythms, internal clocks that regulate not just sleep, but also hormone release, digestion, immune function, and cellular repair. These rhythms are incredibly powerful when they're synchronized, but they fall apart when your sleep schedule is erratic. And here's what I see constantly in older adults. They stay up late one night because they're watching something on television. They sleep in the next morning because they're tired. They take a long nap in the afternoon because they didn't sleep well. They go to bed early the next night because they want to catch up. And they wonder why they feel exhausted all the time. Every time you go to bed at a different time, you're sending conflicting signals to your brain. Your circadian clock doesn't know when to release melatonin. Your body doesn't know when to lower cortisol. Your digestive system doesn't know when to shut down. And for someone over 60, whose circadian rhythms are already weaker and more fragile because of age-related changes in the suprachiasmatic nucleus, this inconsistency is devastating. A long-term study from the University of Pittsburgh followed older adults for 7 years and found that those with irregular sleep schedules had double the risk of developing cardiovascular disease, significantly higher rates of metabolic dysfunction, faster cognitive decline, and a 30% increase in mortality risk compared to those who maintained consistent sleep and wake times. I want to be very clear about this. Consistency matters more than duration. If you sleep 7 hours one night and 9 hours the next, that's worse for your body than sleeping 7 hours every single night, even if 7 hours isn't quite enough. Your body adapts to predictability. It optimizes its repair processes based on when it expects to sleep and wake. So pick a bedtime and a wake time and stick to it 7 days a week. Yes, even on weekends. Even on holidays, even when you don't have anywhere to be the next morning. Within 2 weeks, your energy levels will improve, your sleep quality will deepen, and your body will start recovering the way it's supposed to. Now let me tie all of this together, because I want you to understand how these mistakes compound. Imagine you're 65 years old. You eat dinner at 8 in the evening. You have a glass of wine at 9. You watch television until 11. Your bedroom is warm. You go to bed whenever you feel tired, which varies from night to night. What's happening inside your body? Your digestion is still active when you lie down, so your deep sleep is delayed. The alcohol fragments your sleep after a few hours. The blue light from the screen suppresses your melatonin, so you don't feel sleepy until much later than you should. Your room is too warm, so your core temperature stays elevated and you spend more time in light sleep. And because your bedtime is inconsistent, your circadian rhythm is confused, so even when you do sleep, the quality is poor. The result? You wake up tired. Your muscles haven't fully repaired. Your inflammation is higher. Your cortisol is elevated. And you start the day already behind. Do that for months or years, and you accelerate sarcopenia. You increase your risk of falls, you lose functional independence, and you age faster than you need to. But here's the good news, and I mean this sincerely. It is not too late. Your body is remarkably adaptable, even after 60. I have seen patients in their 70s and 80s make these changes and experience profound improvements in their energy, their strength, their mobility, and their overall quality of life. You don't need expensive supplements. You don't need a complicated routine. You just need to respect the biology of nighttime recovery. Finish eating 3 hours before bed. Avoid alcohol in the evening. Turn off screens 90 minutes before sleep. Keep your bedroom cool. And go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. These are not small things. These are the foundations of healthy aging. Because when your body recovers properly at night, everything else improves. Your muscles rebuild. Your joints feel less stiff. Your balance improves. Your mind stays sharper. You have more energy during the day. You stay independent longer. You maintain your strength, your dignity, and your quality of life. And that is what we're really talking about here. Not just sleep, not just recovery, but the ability to live fully, to move freely, to enjoy your grandchildren, to travel, to pursue your interests, to remain the person you've always been. So I want to hear from you. How old are you? Where are you watching from? Which of these mistakes have you been making, and are you ready to change it? Leave a comment below. Share your experience. Let's build a community of people who understand that aging doesn't mean declining. It means adapting. And when you adapt intelligently, when you give your body what it needs to recover, you don't just survive your 60s and 70s and beyond, you thrive. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.